We are based in, and today we are talking about the same-sex marriage. Uh, in a landmark opinions, the dividing Supreme Court ruled on June 26 that the state cannot ban the same-sex marriage. In the U.S., becomes the 21st country that they can have the same legal rights and benefits as the heterosexual couples. And now we are talking about some story, because in Taiwan the same-sex marriage will not illegal. So,
Here I want to tell you a story. He's a boy, his name is John. He's an attentive person and he has tender behavior and poor appearance and soft voice. And by the way, he's a gay. Yeah, one day he went to buy his breakfast as usual. He ordered a sandwich and a cup of tea. At the same time, a boy behind him, and he asked his mom a question. Why his voice is so weird? Is he a gay? All people in the breakfast shop heard about that, and including John. John was very upset, but he still stood there and waiting for his breakfast. When his meal's down, the waiter brought his breakfast to the table. John tried to pay money, but the waiter just said, "Put down your money on the table and get out." After taking his breakfast, John walked out of the store with his broken heart. Arrived at school, John sat alone in class. Teacher asked him a question, and after answering it, he heard about his classmate laughing at him and said, "Why his voice is so weird? Is he a gay?" John bended his head in silence and didn't say anything. Suddenly, teacher took his notes and praised for his neat words and encouraged people to imitate him. And there are more and more classmates laughing at him with irreverence. And then teacher asked them to divide it into groups. No one wanted to get along with John. Finally, John was divided into the group that don't have enough members. His members don't let him join with them because all of his classmates don't like him because they think John is a gay. They think gay is terrible, and they don't want to get close to John because they were fear of coming down with disease, just like gay ideas. John knows they hate him, but he can't do anything to change it. So he just stayed in his seat with his tears in his eyes. In lunchtime, John ate lunch alone. He thought if no one wanted to make friends with him, he could have more time focused on his schoolwork. So he decided to prepare the test for graduate school. He really studied hard. And he went to cram school by a nearby Taipei Main Station almost every day. He could pass by 228 Memorial Park, 228纪念公园. There are many gays used to gather in there, and people think these gays stay there and doing something illegal. And his classmates saw him pass by there for many times, so he think John always do something bad there. So he told to his classmate, and everybody in class know about that. Finally, John heard this rumor. He was very upset and he cannot enjoy it at all. So one day he jumped to death in school. And here I want to ask you two questions. Will he find his soulmate? And will he get married? Yes. And we will talk about this question.
And next, we want to take another story about John. And now go back to the scene that John went to buy his breakfast. And the boy behind him asked his mom, why is his voice so weird? Is he a gay? And his mom answered, everyone is special. We cannot have prejudice against others when we don't know the truth. And when John heard this, he felt more comfortable. And the store owner gave him breakfast with a big smile. And at school, John always sit alone in his class. And at the same time, teacher asked him to answer a project. And John answered it fastly and sit down because he's afraid of friends laughing. But a classmate suddenly asked him, could you borrow me your notebook? I want to learn the way you studied. And at this time, John opened his mind and met a lot of friends. And in the lunchtime, John ate his lunch with his classmate, and they talk about what they want to do in the future. And then John confessed that he is a gay. But surprisingly, his classmate not only accept him and encourage him to go his own way. So he felt his life is more meaningful and happy, and have a happy life. Thank you.
Okay, our storytelling pauses here. What's your guys' views on this matter? In fact, the same-sex marriage has provoked much discussion in Taiwan, and most of the arguments are a result from the emotion to defend the morality founded on religions and public perception, which has the right to protect the relationship of family. To put it bluntly, there is only one reason that the opposer object to amend the law. That is, the same-sex marriage is unusual. Same-sex couples cannot have children, so people consider this kind of sexual behaviors to be hoarded. But in my opinion, procreation is not the only way to express love. Whether being a homosexual or not cannot be decided by ourselves. We can only accept the fact, just like accepting different skin colors. Just like the first story, John made great efforts to strive for vindication in this society, just because he wants to live in the society peacefully. Fortunately, we can change the relationship between the society and homosexual just by standing in their shoes. Although the same-sex marriage is still illegal in Taiwan, we can still do something to make their lives better. Just show our respect, respecting their basic authorities. And I believe the more we understand each other, the less quarrels we will have.
Okay, I'm going to make a short conclusion. Although the same-sex marriage is discussed by a lot of people, the people, we shouldn't discriminate against the people who are homosexuals, on their position when they receive peculiar looks or treated unrespectful. Homosexuals must be angry or unhappy, and we should show our empathy for them. Whether you agree, homosexual or same-sex marriage or not, the most important thing we should do is to respect. All the people are equal, and no one can be criticized because of their different aptitude. Thus, all of us stand for the same-sex marriage. And yes, we all stand for the same-sex marriage. And this is the end of our speech. Thank you for listening.